morning show. So glad you're here.
Yes, we are. We are. Real people, real talk. From challenges to wisdom, conversations that heal, inspire, and empower.
We have some wonderful guests.
We are so excited.
We are so excited. And you see, we're speechless. So in our opening, we're like, So we're speechless about the real people. Real people.
Real talk.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
We are thrilled to have with us two people whom I adore, and you'll see why.
Right. And I met them, and as soon as I met them, we were like instant connection.
Yeah,
instant
same here.
Connection.
Same here. They just have that magnetism.
I was like, we have to get them both on our podcast and expose the world to them. Although they've already had the exposure, but we want to give them more.
Give them more. That's right.
Yes.
So please help us give a warm welcome to Mark and Lynetta.
Yeah.
And there's so many things to talk about with them. But first of all, I just want to welcome you here into this space and let you say hello to the world and
to our audience.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Introduce
and
yourself.
And let them know how
them to
fabulous you are.
And how fabulous you are.
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you.
So,
would you like me to share now?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm Lynetta, and this is the Mark part.
I'm the Mark.
He's the Mark, the great, wise Mark. And,
really?
Mark is the inspiration behind my recent unleashing of my heart. And this is because when I came into the relationship, I wasn't all put together. I was a mess. I was coming out of living in a campground where I was going to move into a tent, basically. And
is that because you like the outdoor life?
Oh yeah, I love nature.
Not that much.
But I was like at my bottom, and I just told myself it was not an option to go home to my mother's, which I used to do whenever I'd collapse. But Mark was right there at a time when I said, I don't know anything about love, but I'm ready to learn about what love is.
I love that.
I was at a workshop where they teach about love and and communication and having boundaries and how to honor and how to make requests. And Mark was at that workshop, and when I first met him and we talked about everything that we had done 6 common modalities or transformational training and workshops, and I'd never met anybody who had done so much inner work before. And what I was really calling in was somebody who was into doing the inner work, and they were all about transformation. And that's what Mark is. And during this almost 12 years that we've been together now, he has
Congratulations.
Yes.
in my dark night of the soul, and over again, I'll tell you the secret to the greatest healing for me. And I have been my trauma that I've been experienced throughout my life was so deep and so dark. But in my darkest night, when Mark would hold me and I'd be shaking and trembling and crying, he would say, of course you feel that way. Of course you wanted to be loved. Of course you did what you had to do to survive an impossible situation. Of course you did. And those words came out as an affirmation, an acknowledgement of validating that whatever my experience was, that it wasn't wrong. And I didn't do life wrong. I adapted. I learned survival skills, and of course I had to adapt. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And he took it a step further, and he said, if you hadn't done what you had done, you would not be here right now. And that would be absolutely devastating. It would be what? Tragic.
Right.
It would be
Yes.
How
Yes.
beautiful.
Because I would do
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. That's so beautiful. That validation is
It's paramount.
it's critical. It's essential to healing. And it's so beautiful that you shared that in that way. I just want to say this for encouragement to anybody who's listening. We are always being prepared. If we long for a mate or a partner, we will meet that partner right at the perfect time where we have been prepared for each other. And then we grow together. And that's what I see in you too.
And what I see too is that there are other people that have had the experience that you've had. And sometimes, just like he validated you, that of course you went through this, there are others out there that will look at you guys and will say, wow, of course she did what she did. Of course I did what I did. And we're validating those experiences. And I think that is so awesome.
And when you talk about the right time, we joke about it now, but it's like if we had met each other earlier in our life before we had done the internal work that we've done, we would have killed each other. Because both of us have our triggers, and our sensitive spots. And it's like now we know how to handle each other in a way that's loving and accepting and, just acknowledges there's a trigger present. But man, we would have just ripped each other apart earlier in our life. So we could not have met one day before we did.
Isn't that the case? That I see that. That's the validation that the time that we come together with our partner is perfect timing, and like you said, not even a day sooner.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes. So continue, because so much. This is right. What we have here is just pregnant with so much goodness. So I don't want to stop it. Continue.
We started off in the deep end. We just dove right into the deep end.
Yes.
And really, that's Debbie and Kim. You have created a container for that to be possible. So I really want to acknowledge both of you for creating the space where I could just dive right in. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't swim, so take me back to the shallow so I feel that I'm not going down. Yeah. Oh, I get a floaty. Yes. Okay. Awesome.
You met and you began to heal and grow together. Well, what do you call it? Facilitating each other's, right? Is that right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? You have created the container to help others, so many others, to heal. And that's what I want to highlight here today now, because between your podcast, your books, and your work that you do with people, can you give us a little taste or insight into some of the things that you are doing right now? So wonderful.
Start with your book.
Okay, well, I want my mommy and a guide for adult children to be with their parents in three possible ways. There's the possibility of full contact, where you're honoring each other, you really see each other, you both feel fulfilled in the relationship. And that's a possibility. It's a real possibility, because I have that now with my dad.
Awesome.
Yes.
I didn't have it before, so this was created. And recently, very recently.
Last few months. Just the last
couple months. Very recently.
Wow. Yeah, very encouraging.
And there is the second possibility is low contact. If the first possibility isn't possible, like full contact, because we give you the tools basically to have that be possible, full contact with active listening tools, where you really listen to each other, really get into each other's world, and we get into those tools throughout the book. But if that isn't possible, if the door is still closed on your parents' end, if you offer this up to them as, hey, here's some tools, would you be willing to do these with me? If they're like, no, that's not going to work for me, and they are a no to it, then you may go to low contact. Maybe you still do want to be in the relationship. There's some warmth there, some reason why you still want to have some contact, but you want to be very, very discerning about how you spend that time. For instance, with my mother, I may say, Mom, I have 15 minutes to talk. And then at the end of that 15 minutes, I get off the phone, and and that's it. And maybe I call her only once a month. I get to decide that. I get to decide.
Okay.
And what you talk about.
And
what you don't.
And what we talk about and what we don't talk about. I get to have a say in that.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for instance, if she starts getting into her religious, where she's like, Lynetta, you need to come back, I will redirect. I've learned now to redirect it back to her and ask her a question. So I don't get into those going back and forth about my spiritual, what I believe spiritually, and her beliefs, because I'm building up against her programming, her doctrine, which I can't get through that wall. Once she preaching, there is no getting through that. But
good thing that you recognize it.
I can redirect. And take it back to a question.
Can you give us an example of that? Because so many people are up against that. So many.
So how I would do it is, she'll say something like, oh, Lynetta, so this Saturday we're having our big convention, and I would love for you to go. Do you know how to find it on the app? And then I'll go, oh, Mom, tell me, what is it going to be about? What excites you about it? And then she'll go on talking about what it is. We're going to talk about the new world and how we're going to live in this paradise. And I may even say, oh, Mom, I can hear your excitement. And I can hear that you really love for me to be with you in that. So I'm joining her in it without actually even going.
Yes.
By mirroring back what I feel, what I can sense is underneath her invitation. Underneath her invitation is she wants me to be with her. But I can be with her right now in the conversation.
I love that. I love
Yes.
By asking questions.
Questions.
Into her world. And then if she starts trying to direct it to, well, when are you coming back to church, Lynetta? I could come back with, oh, Mom, what is so exciting about it that you want to share with me? And have her share why she wants me to be there and share why she's so excited about it. And I can get excited about that.
Yeah.
Without having to go to church with her.
Yeah. That's so much more loving than just shutting them down, because like you said, she is able to enjoy the thought of you being there with her, and just you're honoring her joy, her enjoyment, and what she is, excited about. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and I may ask her, why did you come into that religion? Like one recent question I asked her, why did you get into it in the first place? And in her answer, I was able to get deeper into her world and see, I can see what's most important to her is home and family. And that's really why she got into it. She wanted her whole family to be together, living in one house, like Dynasty. I don't know, you remember?
I remember Dynasty. Yes, we're old enough to remember those. Yes, young enough to remember those shows. Yes,
so
yes.
Not everybody will know what those shows are, but what those shows are is where big families live together in the same house.
Even as adults.
Yes, and all the conflict, and the chaos. Yes.
Right.
The drama.
My mother loved that show, and she wanted all of us to live in the same house. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no.
Which most kids are saying today. No, 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 no.
Right. But getting into her world, I was able to see, oh, this is why it's so important to her. She actually wants me with her forever.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and the love that's behind it.
Yes.
Now there's another one. Now if the low contact leads to even they're crossing boundaries, like you've set down boundaries, like no, we're not talking about this, and they still are insisting on pressing it. And this might be politics. This could be religion.
Could be showing up unannounced at your house.
Oh, showing up at your house without calling first to let you know they're coming. There may trying to tell you how to raise your kids, and that you need to raise your kids this way, and that you may have already laid down that boundary,
Yes.
and they just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. That might mean, and also drugs and alcohol. That's another section in my book about parents that are still drinking and drugging. Parents that are in recovery, but they're pushing too hard for you to quickly get over it because, hey, I stopped drinking now. You should be okay. You should be all right with everything now. And then you've got, and then I have a chapter on narcissistic parents. Parents that just cannot hear you. They just don't listen. It's always got to be coming back to them. It's like the attention and all the focus has to come back to them. And if you hit a wall with that, if you've tried low contact and they just keep crossing those boundaries and they're not respecting them, you may have to go to no contact. And what no contact is, when I got really serious about, because my mother would not, I'd say, Mom, do not send me another link to your, whatever your church stuff is. And she would turn around right then and do it again. And I got to the point where I put no contact by blocking on my phone and email. And I'll tell you what that did for me. I never even thought that was possible until, a few years ago. Like, I only did this, 3 years ago, where I was like, wait a minute. I don't have to be, every time the phone call is going, oh, my God, it's my mother, and get the racing, heartbeat.
Yeah.
My hand starts trembling. I'm like, I could just block. If I need that space right now, I block my mother both ways. No, and it gave me relief and space that I needed just to get my nervous system to calm down, to know that I'm not just going to get a call instantly that I have to take just because she's my mother.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And good for the people hearing this to give permission to do that.
Yeah.
Because we need it.
And
without feeling guilty.
Yes, that's what I was just getting ready to say. Without feeling guilty, because parents are good for
some of them, and especially if they're narcissistic. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd like to add one thing in here, which is listening to Lynetta now is pretty amazing, because the fact she can talk about all these possibilities, including full contact, the way she's described it. To get here, she had to release any need for anything from her parents. Yeah. And she literally only got there a few months ago, where she fully released that. So everything she's describing, it's absolutely true now, but until she released those needs, she was still hooked in energetically. So that actually preceded all this and enabled and created the space for this to be created.
That's a very important point.
Yeah, I did not need anything from my mom or my dad to be able to get here right now, because as long as I was yearning for what I wanted from my mom, which, Mark, over and over again, how many times did you ask me, Lynetta, where are you right now? I'm thinking about my mother.
A few thousand times.
Yeah.
I wanted
I
the
believe
little
it.
girl in me. And I believe there's a little girl in every single one of us, a little boy or a little girl, and that child sometimes will dig its heels in so deep and say, no, it has to come from my mom or my dad, nobody else. And I've heard this from other people. I am not the only one. I thought,
No,
oh my gosh,
not by
it's
no
just,
means are you the only one. Yes. Yeah.
there's something about it. Like it has to come from them. And once I finally dropped that and got that I was the parent that could give myself everything that I really yearned for, in only the way that I know to give it.
Get it.
And I had to
Yes.
just
Yes.
sit my little girl down and go, honey, I get you want it from her, but let me tell you, I know how to give it to you better than she could ever know how to, because I get you better than
Yeah.
anyone could possibly
Yes.
know you. I
Yeah.
totally get you. I know what you want to hear. I know what you need. I'm the parent, and I'm right here. I will show up every single day, and I will give you exactly what you need. So every time I make my bed, which this is one of the things that got me when I was little, when I was 7 years old, I made my bed. I was so proud of myself because I'd been watching my mom make beds, and she makes hospital beds. Like,
Yes.
you know, the kind where
You're up. Yep.
Yep. You bounce the quarters. Yep.
Yep.
where you
Yeah.
put the pillow, you put the top of the over the pillow, and you tuck that under the pillow.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. I've been
Yes.
watching her for years and noticing how much she put into it. So I did it myself with my bed, by myself, all on my own. I was so proud. I went in and said, Mom, come see what I did. And I was so excited. Couldn't wait to show her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to be so proud of me. And she comes in, and what do you think happened?
Criticized. She found something you did wrong.
Oh, she tore that up and remade it herself.
Wow. Wow.
There was no words. There was no acknowledging. I was
Wow.
sitting there shocked. Just
Yeah.
shocked because I
Yes.
thought that she would say what a great job I did,
Yeah.
how proud she was.
Yeah.
And she just redid it herself. And you know what I told myself?
Yeah.
I said, you can't do anything right.
Yeah.
I know that right now there are people listening to this or hearing this that are thinking that was my experience, and I just want to thank you and commend you, because what you did with that, you know, in your book or before you got that is what self-love is. Being the parent that you didn't have, that you longed for, that is a self-love act.
Well, can I ask another question? And it's probably in your book, but if you've never got to the point that where you're getting now, because your parents have passed on, yes. What is the word? Yeah, that's
the chapter where Mark
has that chat. Oh, so
I
then we'll.
brought in a whole story about his childhood and his dad, because his dad has already passed on.
Yeah, he died when I
Yes.
was in my 30s. And I had a lot of unresolved stuff when he died. In fact, we had just started to reconcile, and then he got cancer, and he was gone in a few months. And being Jewish, there's a practice that you're supposed to go to synagogue and say prayers for a parent for the whole year after they die. And some days I would do that, and I would feel like I was missing in. And some days I would say to myself, why the heck should I go to synagogue and say a prayer over him? Like, how, and this is literally what's going in my mind. I don't know if I quite said it out loud, but like, how dare he have died before he could apologize for all the things he did to me? That's what was going on. So I was like a madman, you know, that whole year of mourning. It's like sometimes I missed him, sometimes I hated him. It was like back and forth, back and forth. And I'd say I spent probably a good 10 years after he died until I finally really cleared most of the anger I had. So the fact that a parent has died, First of all, some people think they're going to get relief when the parent dies. No. If
No,
you're looking forward to their
no,
being dead, because then you'll be free.
No.
Not a
no, no
chance.
chance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell us a little bit about that dynamic, because I'm sure people, are experiencing that. They're going through that. I want them to be able to see themselves and know where they can go from there.
So what'd you do with that?
So, you mean, what did I do with all the anger?
Yeah.
What's in the book? What does the book say?
Yeah.
What did you put in the
What
book?
does the book say?
Oh, well, I shared with Cheryl.
Oh, that part, yeah.
Yeah, Cheryl Sullivan.
Yeah, yeah. So I did a lot of work with a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
different people for like a decade after he had passed.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one woman I was working with. She was a spiritual teacher. She taught me theta healing, did some past life regressions, where I saw relationships with my dad that had been challenging also.
Yes.
And at one point, we were just working on my anger towards him. In the middle of the session, she said, "Would you be willing to forgive your dad?" And I went inside. It's like, let me check in. So I went inside, checked in. I was like, "Nope."
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh
was
my
like
goodness.
100% clear. Like,
Good.
hell no, I am not.
Yeah.
But then she asked the $1 million question. She asked, I get it. Instead of forgiving him, would you be willing to release him from being the ideal dad that you had wanted him to be? Release him from the role model of being the way a dad should have been for his son. Would you release him from that model, from that ideal? So I checked inside and it was like, yeah, I can release him. And that was huge for me. And in fact, we used it ever since. We use this in all our coaching. When somebody comes, we never talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't work, in our opinion, because when people say, "I forgive you," or "you should forgive him," basically what they're saying is, he was really, can I use choice words here, or do I have to keep it?
You can use whatever you want. You can, yeah.
He was really an asshole, and you have every right to be pissed at him. But let's pretend you're the bigger person and forgive him for his sins, so to speak. But, in the back of your mind, you're still really holding on to he's really an asshole. And I'm just going to pretend to be the bigger person. But you're really not energetically releasing the person. You're still holding on to it. You're just giving lip service. I forgive you. I forgive him. So we don't use forgiveness at all. Instead, we use release. Yeah. I can release him for not having been the ideal dad that I, as a son, had wanted. Yeah.
And I think you feel so much better saying release than saying forgive, because your whole body just seems like it just
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Whereas forgiveness,
good.
it has judgment in it. You're never
Yes.
letting go of the judgment. You're still holding it on like it's precious. Like.
So what happens?
Yeah.
What happens to the judgment when you release them?
Well, there is no judgment if you release them. And it's like, this all connects with how big a perspective do you have about everything in life? About you, about your parents, about multi-generational stuff that's been passed along, about what your soul may have wanted to experience when it came here and agreed, if you believe in this, which we do, to choose
We do. I do too.
people to be your parents. It's like, depending on your context, everything can make a certain sense. Doesn't make it okay or excusable, the fact that this crap went on. But if you get an understanding about why we as souls may have wanted to experience some things that were even truly horrific, that takes the edge off of it on a certain level. Doesn't make it right, but it takes the edge off. And most importantly, it takes the victimhood out of it.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
as long as we're seeing ourselves as victim of our parents, society, religion, the sexes, whatever, we are not empowered to create the life we want. We're just victims. And we're going to go around and see dangers and enemies everywhere.
Everywhere.
And we'll basically spend our whole life being on guard.
On the guard.
And the ability to create something isn't there, because we're in defensive mode as opposed to being in creator mode.
No.
So
And your body is tense.
Yes. Yeah, it's like you're preparing for that next hit or whatever.
Yeah.
Next verbal assault.
Yeah.
There's another that came through writing this book, another way that you don't even need forgiveness. Another way to do this is when you totally get inside their world. So, for instance, now this just happened yesterday. I actually called my mother, and I hadn't talked to my mother in about 3 months. But I told her about the bed scene, which I had shared with her before, but I also shared it in a way that was crying and saying what I needed from you was for you to say, I did a good job. And I didn't get what I wanted from last time I shared this. But this time I shared it and I go, you know what? I know in your childhood, and I'm talking to my mom about this, her childhood, there were 11 kids. And when she was little, she had a stool up and she was washing the dishes. She did the laundry while none of her siblings would help. And her mom was pregnant every year, and she was working since she was little. I mean, she'd never played. All her siblings were out playing, but she'd always be washing dishes, cleaning the house, doing laundry. And back then they used the they were like
washboard,
washboard.
Washboard. Yes, yes.
And then she'd fold them, and she said one day
Wow.
she did 12 loads.
Wow.
And I said, Mom, did you ever get a thank you from anybody for doing all that work? Did anyone say you did a great job? And she said, never, not once, never. And I said, what did you do with that? And she said, well, I just thanked myself. I said, I did a great job. I just told myself, wow, Marilyn, you did a great job. And she didn't need it from her parents. And here in my world, I was saying, well, I did a terrible job. I can't do anything right. So there's two different worlds going on. I don't need to forgive her for that. I get her world now. I just get where it's coming from. And I also get that she had a way of looking at it where she just thanked herself, which is really parenting yourself. And she was being her own good parent to herself.
From a child, as she was growing up.
Right. So it's like there's nothing to forgive. After hearing her story, I'm not hurt anymore. First of all, I already took care of my little girl in that story and said, I love the way you make your bed, and I don't care how many wrinkles there are. I love your wrinkles. You know? So I already
Getting those.
to her. But I got into my mom's world, and that's what helped me totally release. There's nothing to forgive. I get her world, I get my world.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Nothing's wrong. Yeah.
Nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what else can someone who reads "I Want My Mommy" who does "I Want My Mommy"? Who would get the most from it?
Anybody that's still trying to get their needs met through their parents, but every time they try, they're getting wounded over and over and over and over.
There are so many there, and I was there, but I had my journey too. But that is such a place of need, deep need.
I would back it up even more. The way you would know this might be useful to you is either if you interact with your parents, or you even think about your parents, and a part of you goes inside. Well, there's your sign right now.
Yeah.
There's your sign.
Just even thinking about them, or God forbid they show up at your door and then it's 100 times worse. There's something there I guarantee is going to help you.
And I think
Good.
it also helps with individuals who feel like they grew up in a perfect family, but then their brother or sister feels like, oh no, that's not how it was. That's not how it was at all.
But when I just want to say this, that I've learned that you could have 5 or 6 kids growing up in the same household with the same parents and have 6 different experiences, because every one of them is a soul,
Yes.
a different soul who came here and chose those parents for different reasons. And the parents are going to interact with them based on the reflection of themselves that they see in them, which is going to be different for each one. And so for one person, for each one of them, the parents are whatever they needed. But like Mark said, if you think of your parent and you cringe, well, there's some energy there that the book could help with.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's it's really I don't want to say it's really complicated. It can be complicated.
Yeah.
These relationships. So there is it's fortunate that there are things that bring it to the surface, because maybe you didn't realize that you wanted your mommy. Maybe you didn't realize it and you internalized all this and your life was, I don't want to say whatever.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. If you're having challenges in your relationships, whether it's with your children, with your parents, or with your spouse, that's a sign. Those are signs, evidence.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're there to guide you somewhere, and I would say that just knowing Lynetta and Mark, because I know that he put a little in there too, he's contributed to it. That this book is "I Want My Mommy" is the name of it, and it is. I just think it would be an eye opener for the beginning of a journey of healing, if that's the case.
So has the book been published yet, or is it, or it's still? Are you still editing it, or?
Well, we're re-editing. We did put up one version, but Lynnetta's done a
revised
major
again.
rewrite.
I did our surgical, because the first version was a lot of boundary statements, and this is like if you're doing low contact or no contact, and when your parent is just
When they
like,
do this, here's what you can
here's
say.
what you can say. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't see love. Where's the love in here? Where's the possibility? Creating a possibility. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, it needs a major surgical.
It's still evolving.
So-
but in the meantime, it's done. Okay. Okay. Oh, yesterday. Wow.
So how do we get the book? It's a
Yeah, it's going to be digital, and right now we're looking at posting it on Etsy.
It's going to be on Etsy first.
Etsy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll send us the link, and we'll include it in the description.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And the other thing that I wanted to mention is your podcast.
Yeah.
Which I love the title, Why This Keeps Happening. You want to tell us a little bit about what people will taste when they come to listen to that, which is on multiple platforms, right?
Yeah.
Apple,
Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify.
Do you want to answer it?
Go ahead.
Well, there's coaching, like it's real, either our conversations that we have 4 or 5 in the morning, which is always about transformation and clearing out whatever we're clearing out, because we're always growing. We're always,
Always.
There's always
Yeah.
something that we're hitting up against, and we'll support each other. So it's basically a coaching conversation in
Between
bed.
the two of us.
You know, the two of us. And then also the people that we're working with, it's their sessions, but changed names.
Yeah.
Any identifying, so you
Places.
get to hear real coaching conversations with clients or between Mark and Lynetta on real problems we're having right in the moment and how we work through those using we have like 12 tools in our toolbox
Yeah.
that we might grab from, you know.
I highly recommend it. It's inspiring. It could be healing, and I say could be because the listener has to be ready for
They
that.
have to be open.
Yeah. Oh,
They have
exactly.
to be open.
But definitely something that you want to tune into and glean what you can. You both have so many tools. Go ahead.
Since you bring it up, you both said you have to be open.
Yeah.
Can you define for your listeners what that means
Yeah.
to you?
Yes.
Open.
You can say what you mean and I'll say what I mean. When you're open, you're looking, your mind is open. You don't have any specific outcome in mind. You're just open to possibilities, to what this can do. And listening with a open heart, meaning that not judging what you're hearing, but seeing, just allowing what resonates to resonate, and not questioning it or qualifying it, but just seeing how it feels when you're listening to it. Does it resonate? Does it feel like this is something that I can benefit from, something that I need to hear more about, something that I need to lean into, get deeper into it? Even if you hear a part that does resonate, but then you hear something else that I'm not quite sure about that you just can be open to let that part that doesn't resonate go and keep listening, because you never know what else is coming up that may also resonate.
And then open also is we hear so much negativity all the time. And so when a person is real negative, they don't see goodness when they're negative. But when you start to break away from that negativity and you look and you think, well, there's another way to see things. This could be a possibility. You always hear, what if nothing works? What if that doesn't work? What if it does work? Let's be open to the idea that if we take a step forward, instead of always being hesitant, so many good things come to you. It's almost like what my dad used to always say: if you keep your hand like this, nothing can ever get into it. But if you open your hand up, you'd be surprised at the things that come to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what openness means to me. In these last several years, I have been so happy that I've been open to new experiences, to traveling, to being in a relationship that I never thought that I would be in. You know, I said, oh, this is life, this is how it's going to be, and just accept it. But that's not
Open your hands, and you're amazed at the things that you've been attracting.
Amazed.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to add a little bit. It's almost like the step before what you all are describing. It's like, what brings a person to being open? I would probably say, for most of us, we can be so stubborn and like committed
Yes.
to our old ways of being, our old ways of thinking, our old ways
Yes.
of feeling.
Yes.
It's like there has to come a point where, unfortunately, or it usually happens this way, like the pain gets so great where you just say to yourself, you know what? It's just not working. I just can't keep going this way. And you might not even know what you can do differently, but it's got to be that point of saying, God, some people say, I hate my life. I hate, my relationships, my job, whatever. And it's like, I have to find a better way. It's like, it's the determination to say, okay, it's not working, there's got to be a different way. Maybe it's something I need to feel differently, see differently, think about differently. Okay, let me let go, like your fist, you're saying.
Yeah.
Am I willing to let go of my old ways to have the possibility of
Ability.
something that
Exactly.
could be amazing, like you both
Yes.
described.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know,
I had to come to
In
my
fact,
knees.
a lot of, Lynetta and I will often say, well, until they hit bottom, they may just keep going down this path.
And
Yeah.
that's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, and Lynetta has hit bottom many times, and actually she hit bottom right before she and I met,
Yeah.
which created a space for us to be together.
Yeah.
Did you say the thing about love?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about love.
She literally
I was
went
like,
to a
I know
workshop,
nothing.
which is where we met,
Yeah.
where she said, I don't know anything about love.
I love.
I'm here, teach me. And that's the workshop
Yeah.
we met at.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I just wanted to say another thing about the hitting rock bottom, and to get to the point where you're willing to be open, and as you said, a person can hit rock bottom on many different fronts. It is not a one-time thing. There's a lot of bottoms because there's a lot of places to grow from, and so. But the thing that I wanted to inject here, and that is curiosity.
Curiosity.
Being
Yes.
after we realize that, this is not working. What I have here is not working for me. Now, just become curious.
And right.
What could be possible?
Ask those questions.
And that's
Ask
how we
those
open.
questions. Ask them.
Oh yeah, good questions open doors.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Yes.
Amen.
Like, well, what if? What if? I like that. What if? What if?
What if?
things could get better?
Yes.
What would that look
What
like?
if? What would it look like? Yes. What would it look like?
What would it feel like?
Exactly.
Yeah. What if? And then you go into possibilities. It's like,
Which
what revised this whole book was like, wait a minute, what if it wasn't just about low contact, no contact? What if it's about creating the possibility of full contact and you both feel really fulfilled and satisfied inside the relationship?
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That's why I say it's evolving. Well, your podcast is surely evolving. It's a living thing, and I want to encourage people to check into it. Why this keeps happening, from trauma to transformation, with Mark and Lynetta. And as I said, it's on Spotify, Apple, and many. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yep.
YouTube.
Yep, YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
And then
awesome.
we're going to have them back next week. So you want to give us a little teaser about what we can expect to hear about next week?
Yeah, honey.
Don't know what
Mark?
do you expect?
Is it going to be a surprise? It's going to be a surprise.
So
I'd be surprised for me too.
here'll be the heads up. Mark is going to be our focus, and because he's got a story too, we want to hear his story. And so we'll if you have something that you that you heard.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
it's probably going to be on limiting beliefs. I'll just give a tiny preview.
Awesome. Okay.
Our even though we're doing Lynetta's book now, and we've kind of like focused down, we have a business coach who said you need to niche down. You need to focus on a very particular problem, very particular solution, which is why we came up with this book from Lynetta. But we originally conceived, and we're working like day and night a few months ago on a 4-book series that we renamed as Why This Keeps Happening, for which we were going to have 4 books. Now, it connects back to what happened in childhood, because that affects all of us.
All of us.
100%.
And what we did is we literally traced how our childhood, if we can use the word trauma or whatever you want to call it, has affected our bodies, and all the things the bodies have done, including generating diseases, if it stays long enough. That's actually book 1. How that trauma affected our minds, the beliefs we created about ourselves, about others, about the world, about God, all the limiting beliefs. That's book 2. How it affected our heart and our emotions, all the ways we feel based on that past of everything that happened. And then book 4 is about relationships. What relationship patterns did we learn to adapt to whatever maladaptive, childhoods we had? So literally,
Love it.
instead of
Yeah.
the back burner, we have a 4-book series. And
Okay.
limiting beliefs is kind of like my wheelhouse. I've spent a
Okay.
lot of time thinking about that. And for me personally, it's like if I can identify a limiting belief that's running in my background, I've got the ability now that I can almost clear it instantaneously once I can get to it.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That's
we'll
awesome.
look
That's
forward to
great.
hearing
So
about that.
We'll talk about limiting beliefs in particular, from our
Yes.
childhood issues, I think.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
this time just went.
I know.
Yeah. So
We're so grateful
Yes,
because it's so much
yes,
information
yeah.
and it's such a benefit to our listeners. And we reach out to our listeners all the time. So we thank you for being here. And we also want to thank our listeners, our viewers, for tuning in to the Debbie and Kim show.
And remember, you are perfect for your purpose for being here now.
And
Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and comment.
because we love hearing from you.
Mhm.